Hey guys, Xin here, welcome to a new Let's Play. This is Unravel, a kind of old game in a way, from Coldwood, and it's a bit of a passion project, a very big passion project in fact, involving a little character called Yarny, as he goes through all sorts of areas, sort of going through like memories and such, and you have to find little bits of yarn things to, finish up the photo book. Before we begin, we have to see the opening cutscene, which you can only see from the new game thing here, which doesn't usually have to show up unless you get rid of your save. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This will try to be 100%, though there will be some caveats I will mention after the opening. A very interesting and a bit sad little opening there, I guess you can say. But yeah, this is Yarny. This is our main character. And he's a cute little fella. He was essentially like, really pushed big beforehand at like a few of the E3s and such. But yeah, not really remembered anymore at this point. But he is very cute and cool to see. Here's the photo book, which if we look at right now, we can see that it's very muddy and faded. And not only that, but I need to look back in the photo book to actually see it. There are photos in there, but they are also blurry, but also completely broken. See? So all the memories here in this photo book are basically gone, which is very sad, considering. But we gotta find them and bring them back, essentially. Or we'll also find these little yarn things to bring back as well. This is done on the Xbox Game Pass on PC. And I know there are achievements for this game, but for some reason when I played this, the achievements never showed up. I don't know why. But yeah, Thistle and Weed's our first level. Really driving in home what I'm bringing up, huh? But this is the first level, and it's used as a tutorial for the game. It'll get us basically into the basics of how the game plays. And to start things off, for this first recording, I'm going to be using essentially the default keyboard controls. I'm not going to modify anything about how it controls. I'm going with what the game gives me right off the bat. Now, I'm going to be honest, the default controls for this game suck when it comes to PC. This is very much a game that was kind of made for console, and yeah, for PC it has a bit of an issue, I will say that much. And the first issue is the controls, because the controls do not feel nice to use on default. They're kind of messy. But I will eventually modify it and, get it to be at a point where it feels nicer to use, it feels better. And by the way, when I do get the controls set up, all the instructions you're seeing right now for the controls, it do end up actually changing, I believe, to match what your control setup is. So there is that, luckily. So yeah, right now we have the lasso as well, which is our main use for grabbing things and, swinging around. And here are the memories. They will appear for like a few seconds, just doing a little animation such, and the game like puts the camera onto them. And I'm gonna try and show you all of them without just skipping through them, because people like to do that. Though it can be a little rough at times, considering. And I will also say this game is kind of done blindly. The only thing that isn't blind is me essentially just, knowing how the controls work, so I've gone for this level at least. Just trying to test it out and make sure everything is working. And yeah, I found this out myself. So yeah, a nice little bit of a funny thing in case you do decide to not do what the game is exactly telling you to do. There's one more thing I want to bring up, and that is the fact that I'm not really doing it completely blindly on the very fact that I have a guide available to let me know where all of the collectibles are. Which, this is them. These are these little flower collectibles. I'm going to be getting every single one of those. That is so we can actually get 100% essentially. Now, the other 100% requirement is to go for this without dying once, which for this first level I get very easily. In fact, I don't believe it's very easy to actually die in this one unless you just fall. So, don't fall. But later on, there's going to be a lot of shit that gets in the way that will get you killed, and I'll say it right now, this game has some difficulty curves. It's you know, an adventure puzzler essentially, and for its puzzles, it can be not very you know, noticeable on what the game wants from you. Sometimes the game is kind of vague, because if you haven't noticed, this is a very no dialogue sort of game outside of what we're seeing right now with the tutorial. So we're never going to be given any hints really on what to do besides, you know, what we're given essentially. And what we're given sometimes can sometimes not even be that useful. Like for instance, that apple. The game wants me to, you know, go ahead and just drag that apple in here and use 2 apples to make us a bridge. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pull this, and I'm essentially going to bring the water up. I'm going to stand this 1 apple, and that's it. Easy as. If I figure out shorter ways, I'm going to end up finding them on my own way. There's probably the proper way to do them in some capacity, but if I do find like an easier, aka quicker way, I'm gonna go for that. It'll just come naturally for the most part. Now, even though I am doing 100%, essentially when it comes right down to the no death thing, I'm going to get all the no deaths off screen if I can't get it in the recording in the one go. I do manage, I believe, for a few times, but ultimately, I do end up making mistakes and dying in levels, at least more than once, usually, because of certain things that are, in my opinion, bullshit. But what can you do? Also, there are achievements in this game which require you to do, like, optional stuff to get achievements, but Game Pass is supposed to have the achievements. However, it didn't want to work for me. It didn't want to appear for me at all. In fact, on my Game Pass account, I don't even have the achievement list at all for this game. I don't fucking know why. It just never wanted to work. In fact, I've tried many tricks that I've looked up online about maybe getting it to work, but ultimately nothing did. So, I don't know if Game Pass just got rid of the achievements for this game at some point, or if it's just really bugging out on me, because Game Pass likes to do that to me sometimes for some fucking reason. But yeah, what I am going to be doing is at the very least I'm going to mention what these optional achievements are, so that you know what you need to do in order to pull them off and, you know, get all the achievements. Because I will try to at least do those achievement things as well, because I did look them up as well to make sure I know what I'm doing for that. And for this first level, we have to take care of all of the bristles here. Like, all these little things that we can pull down to, like, free up the bike, or to free up those flower yarn things. There are 6 of them in the level. We have to pull down all 6 of them. 4 of them are mandatory. 2 of them aren't, and those 2 are just to get these. So, if you're going for 100%, you will naturally get that achievement, no matter what. I'm gonna just take care of untying that and then swinging across, because sometimes it's better to also just untangle your yarn from spots than to leave them there, because otherwise you will never be able to progress. There's another memory right there. And yeah, for the most part, this is a pretty neat game, I'll say. It looks very well done. It's very beautiful in a lot of cases. And for the most part, I do enjoy the kind of story that's here. Though I will say, I'm also not a big fan of puzzles, and I'm not good at puzzles. I'm a bit of a fucking idiot. You will see that pretty much near the end of this part, in fact, how much of a fucking idiot I am. But when it comes to how this game controls its very gameplay functions and also its puzzles, this game isn't without its downfalls and its rather trial and error-esque puzzles. It's, it ain't good. It ain't very fun. Sometimes it is legitimately bullshit, and I believe at one point I just did not know what the fuck to do. So I just had to look up a fucking walkthrough to know what the game wanted from me. Because otherwise I was just fucking done. I was just lost. If I didn't have that, you wouldn't be getting this Let's Play. Seriously, because I did not know what to do, and it was not obvious to me whatsoever. But that's not going to be until a fair amount later on in the game. Right now, though, this level was pretty easy, though I will say that how I got this bit is awkward. I essentially just swung on this tire until I was able to get onto this little thing there, and then I saw that there's kind of an opening there. Again, I did this level beforehand to test it out, make sure everything is working and such, and yeah, I never noticed this this doorway over there. It does not look obvious to me whatsoever. But there you go. And now we're into this bit, which we're nearly at the end of this level now. All I have to do here is just, you know, tangle in order these bits of yarn to make it like a bridge. And then just carry this tin all the way over to here. And then once I get up to that spot there, I want to jump to my left to go ahead and grab the last collectible for the level. There is one more little issue, and that is sometimes the jumping in this game is a little jank. Sometimes you're able to make a fairly big jump, and other times you don't. If you're running, you'll always hit the big jump, but otherwise, if you're like at this small little platform here where you can't really run and all, yeah, the game gets a bit weird about it. But there you go, that's all the collectibles for the level, and now we can go ahead and end the level right now with this little cutscene. To be fair, I feel like this game was also kind of made to really showcase, you know, the engine and such in a way. Like, I believe this was actually used to maybe showcase one of the consoles and its capabilities. I don't know if it was the PlayStation 3 or 4 or one of the Xboxes, like the Xbox 60 or the One. But I do remember that it was kind of being shown as this this very graphically intensive game at the time, in a sense. Like showing how realistic everything looks with such a cartoony indie kind of title here. It was very much pushed in that regard, and I mean, it looks nice. I will say it looks very nice. And as you can see, there are all the icons right there. The bottom one, oh, there's the see our next level. But yeah, the flowers. The flowers are collectibles. They're always popping every level. The crown is our no-death thing. And that silver medal thing is essentially, I believe, beating the level. If not, it is collecting all the collectibles. And now it's time for level 2, where I do die a few times. Because at this point, I am completely blind. I have no idea what I'm in for, essentially. I have no idea what's coming. I'll tell you if there are better ways of doing some things, but otherwise, it's memory. And, yeah. So first off, there's a can up there. I can kind of just grab that and pull it down. I'll be needing it because I need to get up to that bench. However, I don't really want to go up that bench. I want to actually get up to the fucking telescope up there, so that I can then utilize the telescope to fall down, and then give me these 2 spots to make a bridge. What I'm doing right now is wrong. And you're going to be seeing me do a few wrong things, quite honestly. So because of what I just did there, yeah, I can't do that. So I need to go all the way back and then swing back up there, and yeah. I would recommend to just go for the telescope first, take the thing, and then go to this bench here and then doing the other thing. And there you go. That's how you would get it done better and easier and everything than what I'm doing right now, where I'm just bumbling about like an idiot. And if you fall down there, by the way, that's a death. So, yeah, I knew that was a death, and I avoided it. This game doesn't really have, I believe, an issue with, like, there not being enough room for you to actually get to places. I think you very much can. I think it's not that hard to pull off. But, I will mention that there are some puzzles, and even some platforming bits that I do find to be kind of bullshit. But right now, this level isn't that bad. Though there is one thing that did confuse me a little bit on how it works. Because the way it's kind of shown to you makes you think one thing, and it's not that at all. So here is this kite, and if we grab it, I then start flying, and I'm being swung around. I'm like, okay, do I have to like swing myself around to like get myself some more air? No. I die doing that. It goes by normal controls, so as soon as I grab it, I then just use the up, down, left, and right to control it like, you know, normal. Not that obvious to me visually. And if I grab it on to any of these things, the kite gets stuck, and then I automatically just let go, and I die immediately. So, I cannot fucking touch this shit. But, unfortunately, there is collectible in the fucking branches that I have to collect. So, I have to, like, somehow avoid death while grabbing this thing, which will require me to just barely make it through and not die as I just kind of skim through this bit here, and there you go, got it. And I avoided death right there. Not very good, very awkward, but there you go. And in case you're wondering, by the way, the achievement for that one is literally getting that fucking pickup there. It's called Eagle Eye. Last one's called Gardener. You get that hidden collectible in the treetop thing, you got the achievement. Easy as. Nothing more to it, honestly. Just very basic shit, in all honesty. But it's just getting the damn thing that's a bit of a pain in the ass, because the kite has a bit of a hitbox, and if you get hit a bit too many times, you then just get stuck. So, yeah, I got lucky. Anyway, after getting up there and getting your little checkpoint, you can then crawl down. By the way, the game brings up this little spiral light thing as the sign to get a checkpoint. You're not going to notice it that much. So just whenever you see the yarn stick thing, when you can get more yarn, that is always your checkpoint. Like, just ignore the light thing. That little bit of tip there back in the first level was pointless. Anyway, grab all these acorns, and just push them all into this pit so that you have a way to get across. And then we get into, I believe, where the real enemy begins. The water. this game has quite a thing of making you drown. And this level is going to really push that right the fuck in your face. Because if you get in the water, you're basically fucked. There can be chances for you to get out of being fucked from that, but usually if you end up in, like, the middle of the water at any point, you're fucked. You can't pull yourself out, really. You can't jump yourself out of it, really. And eventually, you just drown. Unless you're very lucky and you're able to get out of there fast enough by grabbing onto a ledge to the left or right or anything else, you're donezo. Oh, by the way, we need this. Otherwise, you can't progress forward. So, yeah. Grab that fucking thing in the water, because that's a real dick move there. And, yeah, then just get your checkpoint. Now, I was able to get up there the first time, but every other time, I just never get enough height or speed, and I just fuck up, because swinging is awkward to me. Sometimes the momentum you get isn't enough to the game sometimes, which is bullshit, and sometimes the gamers want to actually grab onto shit, because the lasso kind of sucks. But once you make it up there, you're fine. And by the way, this fucking lasso, the lasso is probably the worst bit, because it's both the most useful thing you can have in the game, and also the worst functioning bit in the game. Because sometimes the lasso just doesn't want to fucking grab the thing. Like, they kind of distance this stuff a bit too far to the point where the lasso just gives up on trying to grab it, despite the fact you do believe, and I definitely do believe at times, I am close enough for it to grab. But the game is like, no. So, I get fucked off. It happens a few times to me, and it happened there like twice, I believe. In fact, one time I actually just fell in the water and died, and I just cut it off because I'm not going to show the deaths, like all the deaths, because that would be repetitive and boring and stupid. But I am going to show when I do die at the very least, so you know where I get stuck. And if I do get stuck in points where I don't die, I just, you know, get stuck in a spot, I'm going to jump cut to when I actually figure the shit out and get it done. Anyway, now that I got this and I got the checkpoint, unfortunately, I can't just go back. Because once you get a checkpoint, that is now your pull thing. So I have to go all the way around and do this shit. That's going to happen a few times as well. Get used to it. But at the very least, the swing in here actually worked for me and I didn't get screwed over, so there you go, perfect. What's not perfect is this bit here, which I'm not going to skip, I'm not going to jump away from. But trying to grab that fucking thing there took me a few attempts. I was kind of confused on how else I would be able to grab this, because I was thinking, is it too far to the right? Do I have to push it more? But no, the game isn't letting me. Like, this is about as far as it will go. So, what the fuck? What do I do here? How do I grab that? I just had to get lucky and just hit the right sweet spot in order for the game to then register the grab. That happens a few times in this game. The hit detection shit with the fucking lasso is horrendous to me. It genuinely has its moments of just being dog shit and fucking me over. And, yeah, that's one of the main ways you're gonna end up dead. The lasso just doesn't want to work for you. Now, for this bit, I'd recommend essentially tying onto this bit here and then swinging, so that you can then quickly grab back on after you do this to grab this collectible. I didn't do that. I'd recommend you do that so you can actually get back up there quicker and not have to do this shit. But, yeah. Still, there you go, I managed it again. Thank God. Still, the water here isn't a big issue. Just, you know, lasso, swing good, hope the lasso actually works, and don't fall. If you do fall, you can maybe save yourself with the swingables down below. But otherwise, if you fall, it's instant death. There's no getting around it. It's instant death. Anyway, make a trampoline, get across. Don't fall in any kind of pits, and make another trampoline to get across from here. And then you can move on to your next checkpoint. And I believe we are getting close to the halfway point. These levels do go on sometimes a fair long time. Sometimes they are short levels where they take that long, and other times, fairly long. Oh, by the way, there's a clam here, and also just the shit. The climbing up thing can also be kind of janky, but not as bad as the lasso. Though I will say the grabbing stuff shit can be a little awkward, unless you know to basically almost always push. Unless it is to do like a certain puzzle thing, just don't pull. Because the pull thing is just not worth it, and it will lead to you just getting awkwardly just fucked over. Just always push shit. Oh no, a crab is in the way. What are we gonna do? Well, luckily, after I take this down, we can then use that to make a bridge. And there's a clam in the water there, but that water is very shallow, so we can actually walk across that and grab the shell, the fucking clam. And since the crabs love them clams, we can then just, you know, bring it over. I will say the whole bridge thing, also a little jank. Again, not as bad as the lasso, but sometimes shit you want to bring across does act like a bit funky with the bridges. Anyway, checkpoint. Moving on forward, I didn't untie any of this, so we can use it as a free trampoline. Easy, don't untie this stuff. And once we get across to here, we are now, I believe, at the halfway point, because once we get down here, yep, there's memory. Lovely. Sometimes it's a bit hard to see what's going on, but they're kind of just fishing. They have a bucket on their hand. And now it gets to the halfway point, which is more water shit. However, this isn't that hard at all. In fact, I don't make a single mistake, honestly. I might take my time a little bit to get across from this, and, you know, I will untie these bits, because I do use them for a trampoline. Because I'm like, I'm going to try and avoid wasting yarn if I can, just in case. Because I have the feeling the game will get stingy about it, and, spoiler alert, there are moments. But otherwise, doing this is actually kind of pointless. You'll be fine. Now, this bit. I believe some people actually kind of struggle on this bit with the whole tube thing and everything, but I don't struggle on this at all. I kind of knew that I had to bring the thing all the way across, so I can tell that's in the way. So just bring it over, right there, get on top. There you go. And that falls. And I'm like, okay, push that over, and then get on top, and then up it goes. And hey, I'm up there, and so is this thing. The game gives me another thing I can, you know, tie up to make another bridge, but what's the fucking point? What's the point of that little bottom one there? Just tie these two, and then just carry this all the way over. You really do not need to make another bridge there. You can just do this. Though, again, push, not pull. Because, you know, otherwise I can't get this fucking thing across. So, yeah. There you go. Wait a little bit for the water to go past, and then get on top. Okay, grab and pull. Get up. And grab it. There you go. So yeah, that wasn't that bad. The moment where it gets bad is after the crabs. So this crab here, you just jump on his head and get across. There's a clam in a bit of a trap. If we pull this down, the crab will then go for his clam, because he does love his clam. Now, get over here, pull this, and we trap the motherfucker. And now the dumb fuck is just trying to get free and moving around. We can now use him as a platform to get across the water. And thus, we can get across over to then just do some more pulling stuff, because this is where you actually can pull. You have to, there's no choice. So pull this all the way across, give yourself a nice little bit of a platform, then pull this across. So then you can get this, grab onto that, get upwards, and there you go. And as we get across to here, and we get our checkpoint from there, we can see there is a lasso thing there. Lasso it, because that's going to break. And do some big swings. Pretty basic and easy. Nothing down here except for a seagull. Now, there is also like an open spot here that has no purpose. Maybe that is foreshadowing something, I guess, but right now, nothing. What isn't foreshadowing anything, though, is our next puzzle bit, which I believe the game wants me to kind of utilize the lasso bit down below of this cage here, as well as this. I don't do that. I just, you know, swing across till I get enough speed and height, and then I just skip through all these fuckers. Done. And now comes the embarrassing part, because this is where I get stuck. I just went dumb fucker mode about how to solve this. I kept pulling this, I kept being dumb about how to pull this. And I was stuck on this bit for like 3 minutes. And, so, I'm just gonna go and jump cut. And, yeah, just show you how you're supposed to do it. I'm sorry that I was being fucking stupid. I'm really sorry. And now we're in here. We basically have to climb up top in order for us to get to the very rooftop, in which we can then do some swinging. But to get up there, we do have to make a trampoline, as well as push those boxes to the right, so that we can get up top. Pretty basic stuff. And the goal here is to get onto the boat, so that we can activate it and, you know, get to our end of the level. This is basically the near end now. Before you get on that boat, though, you'll have to do a bit of swinging action in order to get our last collectible, because there's one more collectible to get, and it requires us to sort of swing across the middle of some stuff. So, yeah, just grab that, swing across, do not fall down yet. Try to jump across from these ropes there, get right in the middle. And then do that, and then do the same thing here. And the collectible is right over there. Done. So, if I didn't die to the water and the bullshit, then at the very least, I would have gotten this done without dying once. But, yeah. Also, this one confused me a little bit. I was thinking, you know, pull this back. It's not working. Okay, maybe I have to pull it downward, because I'm trying to push this down. Well, no. What you're trying to do is you have to pull it forward so that you can, you know, cut the rope. Yeah, it didn't work the first time. That can happen. I'm running across to then do this because, you know, I guess it's mandatory in my opinion. Why wouldn't you? And then just continue on forward and get over to the, ladies and gentlemen, live barge. We made it to the live barge, everybody. It made it to the fish. And with 2 levels done, that is also it for this part of the Let's Play, because this has been like over 30 minutes. And yeah, as you have seen here, level 2 was a bit long. There's gonna be some long levels, but also some short levels. But there you go. We have the, I believe, flower there, and we have the fish. And we have the magic. We sure do find the magic. Alright, so that's going to be it for this part. Next time, we're going to be going into level 3, and I believe 4, and maybe 5? I don't remember exactly how many levels I'm going to be doing for this, every part. But, yeah, next time, we're going to go forth into Berry Mire. And by the way, just to show you the menu, I'm going to show you basically the settings that I have, because again, they are the default, except for, you know, max fucking audio. This is the default. It will not be this after this video. And then the graphics, I have them set to maximum. So yeah, thanks for watching, I'll see you all next time for part 2 when we do Berry Mine and some more levels.